Hello and welcome back to my channel, Cards by Melissa Minor. Yay, I have happy mail from the Stamps of Life. I'm going to be opening up my card kit club and showing you all the contents and creating some cards. If you are not in the card kit club, I will have a link down below and you can sign up. You can also use my code MelissaM. And I do appreciate when you use my links or my code, as that does help support me and my YouTube channel. Now, you still can get this kit. You still have until February 14th to sign up on the Stamps of Life website to get the contents of this box. So let's open it up and see what we have. So let's take a look at everything that I received in the Card Kit Club this month. First, let me flip through the paper pad. Now you can see here all of the gorgeous papers that are included. And there's a few of these little die cut sheets in here. So you can use the Get Well Bandages stamp set and also the More Get Well Bandages stamp set. If you're in the Die Hard Club, you would have received the Get Well Bandages set, but both of those sets are available now for purchase on the Stamps of Life website. So you can go ahead and get those, as well as the paper pad too, if you just want to get the paper pad. Okay, you get these dots, you get some envelopes here. We got a freebie this month. We got these dies, the words Happy Thoughts, some balloon stickers, some more stickers, and then we got these beautiful felt flowers, some ribbon, and then we get this idea card, which gives you some ideas. And then included this month is an A1 Graceful card die set. I can't wait to use this. And then you get 4 sheets of the powdered sugar cardstock. You get a sheet of Blue Jay, a sheet of Sky, 2 sheets of Midnight, Kiwi cardstock, and Ginger Snap, and then the envelope. Okay, so this is the Get Well Bandages stamp and die set, as well as the Get More Get Well Bandages stamp and die set. And you can see here I've taken the dies out of the package, and I'm going to go ahead and cut one of each of the sheets here so I can get the images all out for my card. So I've just taken a little washi tape here, and I'm going to run these through my die cut machine. So when all of those come out of the machine, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10 images here. So I have these ready to go. All right, let's start with my first card. So I'm bringing in a die set a card die set from my stash here. And this is the Bandage Slimline die set. And I just thought this was perfect to use for this kit. So I've used some of the Sky cardstock. I've also dug into my stash and got a little bit of Cantaloupe cardstock, and then I've cut a sheet of the Midnight here. And I'm showing you that I cut the base in white, and then I cut another layering piece in white, just so that when we layer these together, that I don't see the Midnight overlapping it. Because, you know, when you cut the base, like you have that little piece on the back. So I just wanted it all white to show through. So I'm going to take this piece of Midnight and just adhere it to the white and get that all lined up here. I am using my precision glue press gun to glue all of my pieces today. And I am going to ink the edges. So I'm going to ink the edges in the Sky. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do most of my inking off camera, but I am bringing it in here just to show you a little bit of it. I'm using my little mini inks here and my blending brushes, and I'm just going around the edges and just giving that a little bit of extra color here. And I'm just double checking, make sure I have the right side, and I do. So I'm just giving that a little color. And I'll do that on both of the pieces of Sky cardstock and then also to that flower pattern paper that I cut out. And then I'm going to put my cap back on here. I love these little caps. I got those from Amazon. I'll have those linked down below if you're interested in those. Okay, so I have all of my pieces inked up and I'm ready to start adhering my card together. So I have this, like I said, this cantaloupe. Now there is a little bit of cantaloupe in the pattern paper pad that I could have used, but I did have some cardstock in my stash, so I just went ahead and used that. All right. At first I was going to use white, but I wanted to bring a little more color into the card. So I changed out the white and decided to use the cantaloupe. Okay, so once I get glue on here, I love this liquid glue. It just makes it so easy to get it where I need it. Okay, so I got all of these pieces lined up. I thought this slimline card was just too perfect. Okay, so I've got the little pieces here all lined up. I know I want to glue them down just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and get those adhered down. Okay. And I'll finish gluing these down and lining these up, and everything lines up. The slimline, the name of the slimline is called Bandage Slimline Shaped Card Folded Die Set. Don't believe I said that in the beginning. And it's been out for quite a while, so I was excited to use it. Okay, so I have all of these pieces adhered down. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get this adhered down to my card base. So I'm going to put some glue on my card base and I'm going to put all of this down together. You see how I have that all on the white piece? And that's so, like I said, so that midnight doesn't show through on the back. You wouldn't have to do that extra step. I just think it makes the card look a little more finished when you do that. Okay, so I like that. So that all looks good. And now we are ready to start embellishing the card. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do here is bring in the word die that came in the kit, Happy Thoughts. And I've went ahead and already cut that out using the Midnight cardstock. And then I did bring in the cantaloupe. And so I wanted you to see how this cuts out. So the thoughts, the word thoughts all cuts out together. So I like that. And then happy, I like how it cuts out just in two pieces. You know, it makes it a lot easier to stick down when it comes out all in one piece instead of letter by letter by letter. So I thought that was really nice. Makes this die easy to use. So I'm going to finish gluing down the word Happy Thoughts, and I'm going to put that on my card. Okay. There we go. So that's ready to go. That looks good. Let me move that out of the way. And then I do want to bring in one of those little bandages. And I think this is how I want to put it. So I want to put the little bandage in the center. But first I want to add a little foam tape. So let me pop that up. So I'm going to put a little foam tape on the back of the little bandage person. And then I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to glue down the Happy Thoughts. So let me get some glue on here. This card was super simple to put together, but it's so cute and unique. Okay, I like that, but I still think it's missing something. So I'm going to bring in this set from my stash. Now this is called Basket to Stamp, and you can see this flower on the back here. I went ahead and cut a couple flowers. I think these flowers are similar to the paper in the paper pad. I looked through all the flowers in my stash, trying to find that exact flower, and I thought these were the closest. So I cut a couple of strawberry flowers and then one out in the cantaloupe, because you can see the little bandage person is holding like a strawberry colored flower and then two cantaloupe flowers. So this matches. So I'm going to get these glued down on the card because it just needed something to finish it off. Okay, so I like to do my embellishments in patterns of 3, an odd number, or at least an odd number, not always 3, but usually an odd number. And now I'm gonna, for the flower centers, you can see that they're blank. I'm bringing in pops of color, and this is in Gloss Summer Peach. And you can see this is like perfect. It matches the cantaloupe color. It's like identical to the cantaloupe. So if you're looking for something to match your cantaloupe cardstock, this is great. And one more finishing touch. I should have probably put this on before I put my little bandage down, but I think the little white or the little dots need a little white gel pen. I don't know. I feel like you see like that little cloth part when you put a bandage on, and my mind goes to like, I need it to be realistic looking. So I put the little white dots on there. And then, of course, we've got to finish it off with a few little eyelashes. Okay, so I like that. And then I'm bringing in my marker here in the pale pink blend. And, you know, we've got to put a couple cheeks. So let's put a little rosy cheeks. And now I'm happy. I like this. That is so cute. What do you think? Here we go. This is card number 1. All right, we're ready to start card number 2. And for this one, I'm going to do 2 cards at one time. So I have a piece of the pattern paper, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut at 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut 2 of these since I'm going to be making 2 cards. So again, that's 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then you can see off to the side, I have a couple other pieces already cut down on my table. I've got 2 card bases. I'm just laying out this pattern paper. I like that. It leaves a little border around the card. And then I have a piece of the ginger snap cut, and that's 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then I've got just this little, what do you call it? I guess just like a little border strip, a little scallop. And I used a scallop die from my stash for that. And I used that beautiful sky paper that came in the kit. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down to the ginger snap. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess. So some of this I'm going to do on camera, some of it off camera, but just know I'm going to make 2 of these. And then I'm going to be using the little bandage that's in the little bed. So that is from the More Get Well bandages. You could also fussy cut it with your scissors if you don't have that die set from the pattern paper. So I went ahead and glued down the top piece, and now I'm gluing down the bottom piece that I put together here. I just love this blue. You can kind of tell. I think that my favorite is the blue from the pattern paper. Okay, so I'm going to grab a sentiment out, and this is from the January set, the Stamped and Die Hard set. And the sentiment I'm going to use is just Get Well Soon. I think that fits perfectly in the space that I have here. So I'm going to get this lined up in my MISTI. Okay. And close my MISTI door. And now I'm ready to stamp this. Okay, so I'm gonna pull in some of my inks and I'm gonna look for my Midnight ink. I think I wanna use the darker, that Midnight ink. So I'm gonna look here through my inks and I'm gonna pull out the Midnight. Okay, so I have the Midnight ink and I'm gonna get this inked up, and I am gonna stamp it a few times just so I get that good, rich, dark impression on my card. You can see I kind of need to re-ink my little mini inks here, but that's okay. I'm just stamping them a few times so I get that good, rich impression. I did do that about 3 times. But look how good that looks. And now I'm going in with my stamp chamois. And this is where I keep my stamp chamois, in this salt cellar. And let me get this stamp put away here, put it back on the carrier sheet before I lose it. I mean, we wouldn't lose stamps, would we? Okay. All right, so now I've got both of those images stamped, and like I said, I'm going to be making 2 cards at one time. So we've got both of these ready to go. I'm just going to get these pieces adhered down. And like I said, there is just a little bit of white border around the edges, so I'm just going to line this up and make sure that I'm leaving just that little bit of white showing around the edges. And that looks really good. And now I'm going to bring in my little bandage that's in the little bed and see how that looks. I like that. So let me grab some of my foam tape. I do want to pop this little guy up to give it a little dimension. So I'm going to bring in some foam tape here and add a little foam tape to the back. And we'll get him stuck down on here. When there are so many images in the paper pad like this, it just makes for quick and easy cards. I love that. That looks so cute. Okay, that card is ready to go. All right, let me work on the other card. And so I'll just do the same thing. Let me get this one glued down. Put some glue on here. And line this one up. And since I was already cutting that paper, it was just easy to go ahead and make 2. And there were 2 little bandage people in the bed on the pattern paper. So I just thought we might as well make 2. Okay, so there is that one. And I did color one up, and I thought about using that one. I colored that one up with my markers, but I am going to go ahead, if I can pick it up here, I'm going to use the one that I did cut out from the pattern paper because I like that blue bedspread. I think the blue really ties in the blue from the little scallop strip. So let me get a piece of my foam tape. We'll get him done. Oh, we got to add the little dots. You know, I have this thing. These bandages need these little dots. So let me add these little finishing details. We'll add the little dots on here. And let me add some eyelashes and some... Oh, this one doesn't need eyelashes, but this one does need cheeks. We got to have the cheeks. Especially if you're sick in bed, right? You always got rosy cheeks. At least I think so. Okay, so now we've got the foam tape. We're going to get the foam tape on here. And we'll get this adhered down. So this will be cards 2 and 3. Okay. And I think it needs just a little something else. So let me bring in the little dots and see if we can put some little dots on the card. Let's see, what color do I want to use here? Trying to decide. And I'll put, like I said, I'm going to go with the odd number here. I'm going to go with the rule of 3. So I'm going to scatter 3 of the little gems around this one. There we go, that looks cute. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. Oh, I like the yellow. I'm gonna put the yellow on this one because the yellow ties in. And I'm gonna put 3 gems on this card. Okay. Decisions. All right, so there we go. This is the finished card for cards 2 and 3. Awesome. All right, moving on. Let's start our next card. Now for this one, I'm bringing in another die. This is the Tissue Box Fold-It die set. And again, these are all with that theme of Get Well. And I just thought this pattern paper and the little bandages, it all just worked perfectly together. So I had to bring this in. I love this little Tissue Box Fold-It. So I'm showing you here, I'm going to use the Midnight cardstock. I'm going to cut the background out of the Midnight, and then for the layering pieces, I'm going to put those on this blue flowered pattern paper. I love the blue. I'm kind of like picking out all the blue out of this paper pad. I just love it. Okay, so I've got all my pieces here. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. All right, I've ran all the pieces through my die cut machine. And you can see here, I also ran the card base. And you can see you fold the cardstock in half and you do leave just that little bit of space showing, and that's what makes it a folded card. So let me get my washi tape off of here. I did do that in white. And then up above here, you can see that, see, there we go, there's the card. And then you can also see in the background here, this next piece, I cut the little piece of tissue out of the powdered sugar cardstock. And I'm just going to go in with my scissors here and cut where these little chads are. And I'm just going to remove it so that I can layer a white tissue on top of my tissue box. So I'm just going to take all these pieces. This card comes together so fast. And I'm going to go ahead and glue my, oops, I got one little piece here. I gotta trim that off. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that tissue onto the background die here, background piece. So let me get that glued down. There we go. Okay. And then you can see here, like all the little pieces, it shows you where they go. It's kind of hard to see on camera, I think, but you know, I could have cut these out all in different pieces. I'd cut the one out of the Midnight, and I'm just going to layer it all on the Midnight. I like that kind of like monotone color. And then I think with the white flowers, it really makes the white pop. Okay, and then these, I think they're the same size. But just to be sure, let me just double check them in both of the spaces just to make sure. Yeah, I think they are, but I just had to try them to be sure. Okay, so let me get these glued down. Put some glue on here. And I didn't ink these. These are, the paper is so dark on these, you don't even need to ink the edges. I don't think you'd see it if I did. So let me put these down. Look how fast this card is coming together. Okay, so all that is glued down. So let me glue it to the background layer. And you can see here, it gives you that layer, that Midnight layer around even the tissue. You can see it more around the tissue, but it is all the way around the box. I know it's kind of hard to see since it's blue on blue. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my card base. So let me put some glue on here. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. I mean, how many people have ever received a card in the mail in the shape of a tissue box? Probably no one. So that makes your card so unique when you send something like this. I like that. And they're probably going to smile. All right, I'm going to bring in the Dotted Hearts die set. And because I want to stamp a sentiment. So I went ahead and cut that out of the powdered sugar. All right. And then I'm going to bring in a sentiment here and get this stamped out. So let me see what's going to fit on here. I think I want to bring in this sentiment, I'm here for you. Let me just make sure that fits. I think that would be perfect, and I could use that for a lot of different things. And yeah, that's going to fit perfect. Okay, before I stamp that, I want to bring in my secret weapon. This is a secret weapon, and it's just cushiony underneath, so that way when you ink up your stamp and give it a good press, it gives it a good impression. Sometimes if you're just stamping on a surface, you don't get such a good impression. This makes it so that you get a good impression every time. It's like you can't mess it up if you use one of these. Okay, so let me clean off my stamp here. All right. That looks good. So let me move this out of the way. And I have my sentiment ready to go. Let me put this back on the carrier sheet. I don't want to lose that. Okay. So I'm going to get this I'm here for you glued down. And I think one of these little bandages would be cute on here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue the little heart down. And that little bandage is just perfect. I already had it cut. I had a little tray of these since I'd already cut, my 10 images out of the paper pad to start. And, I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned that when I cut these out, I only cut out one of each of the sheets. There's actually 2 of each of the sheets. So I'm saving those for later, but I had 10 images. There could be 20. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and add my little finishing details. Of course, I've got to add my little cheeks and add my eyeballs, my little dots to the little spaces on the bandage. Dot, dot, dot. And eyelashes, of course. It's all those little details, right? Okay, I think I'm happy. Nope. I need to add some gems. Okay, let me bring in these gems. It needs a little pop of color. So I think these will look really pretty. I'm going to go in my rule of 3. And now I'm happy. There we go. So here is my final card here. How cute. Okay. Now let's start our next card. For this card, I'm going to be bringing in the Creative Decks add-ons. So this is something I've been doing recently is, like if you get into some kind of creative block or, you don't really want to make a card, but you want to do something with all of your goodies that you have, you can make these creative decks and it just gives you that creative outlet. So I'm showing you here, I've taken a piece of ginger snap. I've also used that little, it's like a Polaroid frame, and cut that out with the white. Then I've used this layering die and cut that out of the pattern paper. And then I'm also going to use, let's see here, of course, the little bandage. I'm going to bring in the word here. And the words on here say, I guess germs like you as much as I do. I don't blame them. And then I'm going to be bringing in this dotted oval set. And I've cut this out of the Sky cardstock. And I believe it's the second largest of the dotted ovals. So let me go ahead and get this sentiment out here off the carrier sheet. And yes, that's going to fit perfect on my little Sky oval. So I'm going to put this down in my MISTI. And I'm just going to stamp it with my black ink this time. So let me line this up. Okay, and let me bring in my ink. So I've really enjoyed making the creative decks. You know, that's just a way for you to be creative. And so it gives me a way to use all of my supplies every month. You can use your scraps. You can, if you don't feel like making a card necessarily, or don't have a card to make with the supplies, or just think something's pretty and you just want to make it, you can always make a creative decks and add it to your collection. And so that's what I am doing, and I am so excited about it because they're easy, they're quick, they're easy, they're fun, but it gets me playing with all my supplies. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little bandage person in the little Polaroid frame, and I'm pushing it behind the Polaroid frame and then bringing it up through, and I'm putting a little glue on here so that it's like coming out of the frame. I don't know. I think it's cute. You know, kind of like a badge ID or something for the little bandage employee, little nurse. It's cute. Okay, so I'm going to snip off the legs because I really don't want the legs sticking off the bottom. So I'm going to snip the legs off. There we go. And then let me go ahead and get my Creative Decks card done. Now, how I put these in my box is I'll make the little, you know, like my little decorative ones, and then behind my decorative cards, I have some cut out just in the colored cardstock, and then I have stamped on there like the name, address, birth date, that type of thing. But I keep the pretty ones, and then it just gives me something to flip through on my desk. So in case you're looking for ways to use your creative decks, and I do have a video I'll link down below if you haven't seen it, with some different ideas for the creative decks. Okay, so there we go. I've got the little guy up in the corner, and I want to pop up the sentiment with some foam tape. So let me go ahead and get that. I kind of want it, I think I want it centered. So let me kind of center that. And I got a little something on that frame. So I'm trying to cover that up as well. Okay, so that looks good. And then I really want to bring in those felt flowers. So these are the pretty blue felt flowers that came in the kit this month. And I think that's going to look cute right there. Yeah, I like that. So let me get a glue dot. Oh my goodness. This glue dot is sticky. This flower is not coming off of here. Okay, there we go. So there is my Creative Decks card. Cute. All right. Oh, it needs a little finishing touch. I've got to add those eyelashes. Got to add the eyeballs. And we better add some cheeks. All right, now I am happy. Now let me show you. Okay. Do you love it? Cute. All right, moving on to our next card. I wanted to use the A1 Graceful Card Dice set that came in the kit. So for this one, This is going to be quick and easy. I cut a card base out of the powdered sugar, and then I used that layering die and I cut that with the pattern paper, and I'm just going to get that glued down. You can see I have most of my pieces here already cut out and on my desk. And then I've got a piece of this cantaloupe, and I cut this 1/2 by 5, and I'm going to glue this to the inside to the bottom of the card so that when you close the card, it kind of shows through. Now I realized after cutting it that it does hang off just a little bit, so I am going to have to trim that down. So let me trim off the excess here. Okay. So I've got that on there. Oh, I like that. And then I want to use some of this ribbon that came in the kit. So I'm going to wrap this around, and I'm probably taking too much here, but I want to tie this in a bow. I'd rather have too much ribbon to tie my bow than not enough. All right, so let me see if I can tie a bow while on camera. Let's see. And all right, I'll get it. So this ribbon is so pretty. I believe it's the cantaloupe color. I think if it was poppy, it would be a little bit darker. So I'm going to say it's cantaloupe. All right, there we go. Perfect. Let me cut off the ends. You get at least one spool of ribbon in your card kit club every month, so I love that. I do have quite the collection of ribbon, so I always have ribbon to match my cards, which is nice. All right, and then I'm also using the Hello die that came right there with the card base. And you can see how the letters cut out on this one. I probably should have used my tweezers here, but it cut out just in 2 pieces, so that's good. It's really easy to do. I like it. Like I said, I like it when they're not individual letters, but when they come out in pieces, that just makes it so easy. Okay, so let me get this one glued on. Don't you love that card base? Look how that white just like pops with that little piece of cantaloupe back there. That's so pretty. Okay. So I'm going to get this glued down onto the card in the corner here. And then I have the stickers out on the table, and I want to use those stickers, but there's something that I want to do first. So I want to take the sticky off of the sticker. So you can do that by using some embossing powder. So this takes the stick off of the stickers. It's just, you could also use baby powder, but this is embossing powder. And so I'm just rubbing that on the back to take the stick off. And that's so I can kind of dry fit these just to see where I want these flowers to go. And then also the reason I'm taking the stick off of them is because I want to put some foam tape under them. And so if they were sticky, I wouldn't be able to put the foam tape under them. So I want to use them more as like die cuts instead of as stickers so that I can pop them up. So, and they match the paper perfect. And so I think this is how I want to arrange them. So I'm going to take a little bit of my foam tape here. Let me find the right scissors. I have certain scissors that I use for my ribbon, and then I've got my anti-stick scissors that I use for cutting other things, and I don't like to mix the two. Okay, so I've got this one glued down, and let me go ahead and just cut a couple pieces of adhesive here and put those on these other flowers. This card, I think, is so bright and cheery. And, you know, it's one of those cards you could just keep on hand for whatever. Okay, so let me get that there. Move this stuff out of the way and let me show you this card. I'm happy with this, so let me hold it up here. There you go. Yeah, let me move the little ribbon. Yeah, perfect. So there's our little A1 size card. All right, let me bring in all of the cards that I have made today. Thank you so much for joining me. And leave me a comment down below. Which card is your favorite? I love reading all of your comments. I will have links down below to any additional products that I have used. And I do upload videos 2 times per week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you again in the next video. Bye, everyone.